Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a massive discrepancy between price action and a project's success. And I do believe that Algorand very much suffers from that entirely. If you look at some of the partnerships and the integrations that Algorand is seeing, they are pretty significant, but its price does not correspond with some of the announcements that we see. Now, we get lots of requests constantly to cover Algorand. Algorand is one of the layer one blockchains out there that we think is going to be successful, a successful layer one to come out of the cryptocurrency space. And we come to this conclusion based on some of the integrations that we have already seen. And today we're going to talk about one of those integrations that is breaking news, really. It's only occurred in the past 24 hours, and that is that Chainlink and Taurus, which of course utilize Algorand for tokenization, and of course Taurus is backed by Deutsche Bank, are now working together to enable further tokenization of everything. I think Algorand is going to play a role in the tokenization of everything. I think it's going to play more than just a role in that in regards to how distributed ledgers are going to impact the world that we're moving towards. But today I wanted to cover Algorand. I'm going to start off, we're going to get into all that news to the second half of the video, or in the second half of the video. We're going to start off in regards to some price action, because we haven't actually covered Algorand in a little while. However, I've got some good news for you guys. I think Algorand may be on the cusp of a 100% plus rally. We certainly think there's a technical pattern that is indicating this, which is in line with a lot of other cryptos and where they currently are, and Bitcoin more broadly, which is still that tide that rises and sinks all ships. This video, of course, is happening the day after some pretty significant news in regards to geopolitical events. This is why we're a technical analyst, because if you just follow the news, you're going to get blown around in the wind like a paper bag. Whereas if you're a technical analyst, you have some solid ground to put your feet upon. You can put on the armor of technical analysis, and that's what we're going to do for Algorand. So despite, making this video in the face of what is some pretty negative geopolitical events that, of course, have had repercussions on the markets, I think just largely through to liquidations and a liquidity grab on uncertainty, we still think the markets are going to do spectacularly. We think Algorand's actually going to do well in the sort of next couple of months. And we're going to be showing you that in this video. But when we look at the Algorand chart, it's been one of the weaker cryptocurrencies out there. We do have some cryptos that have progressed out of their kind of phase one base into phase two. Algorand's still kind of floundering around in its phase one, but those tables may be about to turn. We did do a video where we looked at a number of altcoins that are all exhibiting similar traits. And of course, the traits that we're looking at for Algorand specifically is this falling wedge. And there's three impulses within this falling wedge. Basing, which is very typical. This is a great schematic of a falling wedge that we've previously used. Algorand very much doing this entirely. And if you are to break this falling wedge, which I think you potentially are on the cusp of, Algorand is potentially looking at a move. I think this was actually a breakout point to around about 27 cents. So we're going to leave that on here. And this would actually align with where Algorand is on more of a macro pattern. We've been very successful in regards to calling falling wedges. Just to show you a couple of examples, this was ETC, Ethereum Classic, back in 2019. Actually, this was a really old one. You can see 1, 2, 3. This is the schematic. This is Algo today. We also have, this is more of a recent one for us, which of course is Helium. Again, what we're showing you is very applicable. 1, 2, 3, then you break out and see that continuation. This is on the cards, in my opinion, for Algorand, ladies and gentlemen, and we are potentially looking at a 100% plus rally. I think we're at that stage of the bull market where ultimately altcoins are really going to start to get rocking and rolling. And if you look at Algorand from more of a macro point of view, this is still very much phase one basing, and we are expecting phase two to come after phase one, as it typically does as markets move in phases. If you look at Algorand in relation to, what should we choose here? Let's do ADA. And you look at how it reacted in the last cycle, you can see very double bottomy. Algorand's going for a similar thing. Good thing with Algorand is it's a higher right butt cheek. If you look at the likes of Ethereum, for example, this is essentially where Algorand is. Of course, we had the March 2020 disaster or catastrophe to wreak havoc on the markets, but I ultimately think Algorand's not in a bad place from a macro point of view, and certainly that smaller technical pattern that we're looking at gives us confidence in regards to a rally coming on the shorter term, next couple of months or so, that ultimately could see Algorand do 100%-esque moves, and we think this is generally in line with the cryptocurrency space more broadly. Now, we did start the video off talking about some news that inspired us to make this video. Oftentimes, like I say, there is a real discorrelation or disconnect in regards to a project's success in seeing real world usage and utility, partnerships, etc., and the price of it. I think when we look at the cryptocurrency space, coins are very much favorited. I know this as a channel of my size. I've been invited to many kind of behind the scenes, interesting things. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I know there's a lot of manipulation from other influencers when it comes to the cryptocurrency space, certainly larger influencers. Not all of them. Some of them are really genuinely great people. A lot of them perhaps aren't, and we're not going to give any names. So when it comes to crypto, if you look at the involvement in the cryptocurrency space from a retail point of view, it's at record lows. And the coins that do well or get that kind of promotion from those larger channels, from those people with larger audiences, they tend to be favorited. There tends to be correlation in regards to the favoritism of some of these coins, and take that for what it is. It's interesting when, you know, multiple people talk about the same coin at the same time. Not really sure how much further to go with that. But something like Algorand really doesn't seem to get the limelight and the attention, which is strange given some of these sort of monumental partnerships that it's undertaken. You know, Algorand as a layer one it's a very impressive layer one. A super impressive layer one. Silvio Micali, somebody that we're so zealously trying to get on the channel. If anybody can help me out with that, we've interviewed John Wood, hoping we can get Stacey on, and a number of others. We'll be sort of doing a lot more Algorand content soon. You know, this is a very, very impressive layer one, and the price action hasn't reflected, in my opinion, the success of this project thus far and the future success that it's going to have. I do think that we are going to play catch up potentially for Algorand at some point. Algorand's not really, it was a significant holding on mine at one point. It's not really anymore, just because I'm backing other horses until I start to see Algorand start to show a little bit of strength. But this video is really, and I know that's going to upset people, you know, it's my money, I'll do what I want with it, just like you should do what you want with yours. This video really was inspired by a number of things. One is many people asking for an Algorand sort of update. We've given you a price update, and we think that 100% move is on the cards. Also, there was an article that came out today, 2 hours ago this article came out, and it says Taurus Chainlink collaborate to facilitate institutional tokenization. Now, the second I saw the name Taurus, I instantly went back to the fact that Taurus used Algorand. Algorand blockchain now integrated with the Taurus platform, giving banks and financial institutions access to the Algorand ecosystem. Taurus Protect, the #1 custody platform for banks, by the way, backed by Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank backed Taurus Open Tokenized Securities Exchange, TDX, to retail investors. Let's continue on this original article. Where were we? The number it now supports Algorand's native tokens, Algo staking capabilities, and ASA, Algorand standard assets. Taurus clients will be able to use Algorand to generate passive yield by collecting staking rewards, as well as issuing and managing tokenized assets leveraging ASA. Also, Taurus has expanded Taurus Explorer, its blockchain connectivity infrastructure, to support Algorand. It's a great time to see Taurus, an industry-leading digital asset platform, now integrated with the Algorand blockchain, said an individual who's, of course, head of the business solutions in Europe for Algorand. This is an exciting new avenue for financial institutions to access all the Algorand Layer 1 has to offer, from speed and scalability to security and the lowest possible environmental impact. I think, personally, I know this is an Algorand video that Hedera actually, which isn't a blockchain, it's a DAG, so you could say this is it from a blockchain point of view, got the lowest impact. The individual from the chief security officer over at Taurus said, we received multiple requests by clients to access the Algorand protocol and its tokenization capabilities. We are hence pleased to partner with Algorand to unlock new use cases and continue to provide the widest choices possible to our clients, not only in terms of base layer 1 protocols, but also in terms of tokenization capabilities, where Taurus has become the undisputed leader in the world. Interesting, and they are certainly making headway. Again, Deutsche Bank essentially backing them. This was, again, the article. Taurus team up with Chainlink Labs to address challenges related to tokenized assets, including cross-chain mobility, data integration, and security. Taurus, a digital asset infrastructure provider, has partnered with Chainlink Labs, a blockchain tech firm, to facilitate institutional tokenization. The partnership aims to promote the adoption of tokenized assets in institutional markets by focusing on providing data transparency, cross-border mobility, and security. In a news release shared with Cointelegraph, Taurus said it will use Chainlink's data feed for market pricing, reference data, and identity data to provide asset state information and facilitate transactions. We're also very bullish on Chainlink. It's a kind of enabler of this space. Financial sector implications. The partnership with Chainlink improves liquidity and insight, especially cross-chain, to maintain the momentum for tokenized assets. Together, we provide financial institutions, which you know Taurus are already doing, and they ultimately harnessing Algorand to do that, with crucial information about asset state and facilitate transactions across multiple blockchains. So this is significant. There's lots of positive things coming out of the Algorand ecosystem that I think largely go unnoticed. I think when you sort of solve the problem of interoperability, then what you have is a choice, because you don't need to be restricted to one ecosystem in regards to how you do things. And when you look at Algorand, it's one of the cheapest blockchains, one of the fastest blockchains, one of the most environmentally friendly blockchains. We did mention here Hedera, but Hedera is a DAG, does things very differently to a traditional blockchain. You know, Algorand becomes an obvious choice to do many things out there. So we're absolutely rooting for Algorand. We're going to bring you lots more content on it. From a price point of view, we think it's very much positioned to do something pretty spectacular in the shorter term. 100% gain is, okay, crypto doesn't seem like a lot, but we do think that's coming in direction with a broader space. And ultimately, when you look under the hood at some of the partnerships, and we've only spoken about one here that Algorand has, it's a very clear picture that gets painted. That's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this content as much as I enjoyed presenting it. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one.